All right, listen, we're going to go to the phone right now because there's a gentleman named Brad Hess. He's a student at Point Loma Nazarene University. He's from Newport Beach, and his mother was running the Boston Marathon yesterday. He was there with his dad, apparently, standing real close to where one of the bombs went off. And let us say good morning to Brad Hess. Hi, Brad. How are you?
Good morning.
Good, thanks. How are you guys doing today?
Doing really good. Are you still in Boston?
I am. I'm actually in Logan Airport right now. We're trying to catch the flight out of here.
All right, and okay. Mom was running the marathon?
She was, yeah. She was actually at mile mark 25.9 when the explosion happened.
How close is that to?
That's about 0.4 away from actually where the explosion happened.
So
4 miles.
So your mom was within the last, let's say, 2 or 3 or 4 minutes from the finish line when this happened?
Definitely, yeah. She was right there. In fact, she was one of the first runners to be starting to get turned around. The people were telling them that it was a bomb scare, and they started to divert them to a different route. So she was a little confused, and then eventually there was news that there was actually a bomb that exploded. But the first reports that she heard was it was a bomb scare.
All right, so ultimately, just as far as the race is concerned, Mom was not able to finish the race because they stopped her before she could get the next 0.4 of a mile done and get to the finish line, right?
Correct. They were not able to finish. It was heartbreaking for her.
Now, Brad, is it true that you were actually standing where one of the bombs had gone off, just like what, 15 minutes beforehand?
Correct. Yeah, actually, I posted the photo online. I was standing literally exactly where the bomb was, the flash point was. But I was there about 13 minutes before. That's where I was waiting for my mom to cross the finish line. And I actually got a call from my dad, and he said, hey, why don't we meet for lunch really quick? Mom's going to be a little bit behind because we were tracking her online. And I ended up leaving. We went only about 150 yards down to a restaurant right down the row. And then I was outside. My dad was inside. And I had my back turned to the explosion, but it was a giant boom. It sounded like a sonic boom because it was almost a boom and then like a jet sound afterwards. And then it actually shook us over. It made us stumble a little bit. And then turned around, the glass shattered around us. And then we turned around, and I just looked in the window, and my dad looked at me, and I just gave him the we got to go sign. And at that point, we actually weren't sure where my mom was. So my immediate thoughts went to my mom. All we thought was we got to find Mom. We got to find Mom. And there was just white smoke, just probably about 50, 60 feet in the air, about 120 yards down. And where it really hit us, we didn't know, could that have been a gas explosion? But a couple of people were covered in blood, and then I saw a face of a couple women running towards us, and they were just terrified.
Oh.
All right, just let me just slow down for 1 second. I want to make sure. We were looking at a picture that you had taken. Are you on the same side of the street where the bomb exploded, or are you across the street from where the bomb exploded? We're looking at the photo right now, Brad. Okay,
yeah, actually that's the same side of the street, and if you notice in the videos they've been showing on some of the networks, you'll notice the tree that's in that picture is actually the tree that was hit by the impact, and it was right next to the impact. So I'm assuming while I was there that the bomb was placed while I was there, and luckily I got out of there.
Yeah, and from the picture that we're looking at that you took, it gives people a better perspective as to how many folks were actually there and how deep it was between the barricade that keeps people off the course and the storefronts that were there. So we're kind of getting a better idea based on the picture that you took how deep it was filled with people waiting there at the finish line. So just back to your story for a second. You're standing nearby where the bomb explodes, and then you guys left. How far in advance of the bomb going off?
I took that picture approximately 13 minutes, judging from the time of my photo, about 13 minutes before the bomb went off. And then when it went off, we were probably about 120 yards down the street, so it still felt deep, it was almost an inside impact. You could feel yourself shake inside. And then all the windows shattered. And it was crazy.
And then did you guys go back towards the finish line, and that's where you saw people injured and bloodied and so on?
Yeah, actually, I heard the explosions in about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I'm not sure, but down the street we heard the second explosion, and that's when we started seeing everyone starting to run, and people were covered in blood, head injuries, mostly forehead injuries, and then we saw a bunch of police start reacting, and they started running, drawing their weapons, and running towards the explosion. And then that's when we tried to head out of there. We headed the opposite way, and then we were so concerned about our mom. What we actually ended up doing is going up the street and cutting across. I believe it was Stewart Street, and just trying to run as far as we could down the route to try to find my mom. Because at that point, we couldn't get a hold of her. She wasn't picking up her phone.
Yeah. And was this your mom's first Boston Marathon? Because I saw on your Facebook page she'd done 35 marathons. Was this her first Boston?
Correct. Yeah. This is her 35th marathon, and it is her first Boston.
Wow, what a shame.
Jeez.
All right.
Well,
Brad,
thank God
she's very disappointed.
Yeah, thank goodness you're okay, Dad, Mom, everybody's okay, and really appreciate your storytelling.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brad.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
All
Have
right.
a good day.
Thanks, you too.